congratulations to all of the nominees, especially for the 8 films up for Best Picture. They have grossed over $600 million. American Sniper alone is responsible for over $300 million of that. So congratulations to them. To put that in perspective, everyone on this side of the theater is the 7 other nominees, and American Sniper is Oprah. Because you're rich.
Neil Patrick Harris last night at the Oscars. Joining us right now, Christian Toto, film critic, and his website is HollywoodInToto.com. Okay, Christian. Well, before we get into who won and who lost, how was Neil Patrick Harris as a host, his first time out, and how was the show in general? I heard a lot of people saying that it was a bit of a yawn fest.
It was a bit of a yawn fest, but nothing atypical. You know, I thought it should have been longer. I needed a couple more jokes about that box with the predictions in it.
Yeah.
I think that would have really sealed the deal. So, Neil Patrick Harris was charming enough for sure, but the material let him down. And I think the funny thing is, I was on Twitter last night. I'm thinking, I've seen better jokes on Twitter written off the cuff than the jokes that they're telling at this mega event where they've had weeks and weeks to prepare. Why is that?
That's interesting. Although one performance highlight everybody is talking about is Lady Gaga doing a medley from Sound of Music, which, by the way, this is what bugs the heck out of me. Mm-hmm. They don't let people speak and have their moment and give a thank you speech. They play them off after 30 seconds, and yet they have time for Lady Gaga singing a medley from Sound of Music, which has nothing to do with the Oscars this year. That being said, people say she was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm actually going to be writing about this at Hollywood and Toto. It's in a way, it's a fail on her career that we're all shocked that she can sing. Yeah. Because she could sing all along, but we've been so distracted by the meat dresses and all the her accoutrement that we're kind of amazed that she can actually belt out a wonderful tune.
That's a great point, Chris.
Yeah, we were talking earlier this morning about American Sniper, and you don't lose, you get snubbed, I guess. So American Sniper, a lot of people feel sort of got shut out here. I mean, a sound editing award and all that, but it was a movie that really touched a lot of Americans. It clearly had box office success. Were you surprised that American Sniper didn't pick up more awards?
A little bit. It was different factors going into it, but I didn't think it was the favorite coming into the weekend. But sometimes the cultural zeitgeist just takes a hold of things, and I thought the fact that the film did get wonderful reviews and the fact that it touched so many people. I mean, I can't tell you how many folks I've spoken to have been crying after seeing that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I really thought that might win the day. I mean, the bottom line is Birdman was well-crafted, interesting, great acting, but what's going to resonate in 5, 10, 20 years? It's going to be American Sniper. It's not going to be Birdman.
Well, you see, that's the thing. When I saw both movies, and when I saw American Sniper, I had an emotional connection to that movie. I thought Bradley Cooper was brilliant. I thought the story was well crafted. I thought it was well told. And when I saw Birdman, I said, I just can't get it. But that's the thing. The people who are voting on this are people who are going to love a movie like Birdman.
Oh, yeah, it was perfectly suited for a theatrical audience, for people in the arts community, for those wanting an inside peek, and that's not the audience members. Listen, audiences enjoyed the film. It did make decent box office coins, so it's not like it was a failure. But when you talk about what connects with moviegoers and what, in 20, 30, 40 years, are we going to see American Sniper on a film montage or Birdman? I mean, I think it's kind of obvious.
Well, but isn't that often the case? I just want to point out, I mean, because before people start running and saying, that American Sniper was snubbed just because Clint Eastwood directed it or because it was about the military, isn't it often the case that the winner isn't really the movie that is the most talked about or most memorable of the year?
Yeah, I mean, there have been, I guess you call them bad choices or choices that haven't stood the test of time. I mean, I think people are still grumbling about Crash winning for Best Picture. It does happen, and it is hard when you're voting to think about what's the best movie and also what's the best movie that people look back on in 30 years. It's a difficult call for sure, so you can't always get it right. And listen, American Sniper was up for Best Picture, was up for Best Actor, it had a couple other nominations. So let's not get too heavy into the snub thing, because it was awarded and nominated and kind of given tribute. So,
and it's not like Birdman is a bad movie.
No, of course not. It's terrific acting, too.
Christian Toto, let me ask you about the big political moment, or one of the big political moments that many people are talking about. Here's Patricia Arquette winning Best Featured Actress in a Film for her role in Boyhood.
To every woman who gave birth, to every taxpayer and citizen of this nation, we have fought for everybody else's equal rights. It's our time to have wage equality once and for all, and equal rights for women in the United States of America.
Yeah, listen to that. Listen to that audience. By the way, Patricia Arquette then picked up her $167,000 goodie bag that she was given and walked out of the theater. How did that go over, Christian Toto?
Well, in the hall, it went over quite well. Across America, I suspect not so much.
You think there was a little groaning and eye rolling in America?
Yeah, listen, there are Oscar moments where there are political speeches that make sense, that work with the film in question. I mean, just think about The Imitation Game. I think it was Graham Moore. I hope I'm getting his name right. The screenwriter who won last night talked about sort of being different and sort of. It was a very positive speech. It was quick. It really kind of mirrored some of the philosophies behind the movie itself, and I thought that worked. It was a beautiful, heartfelt moment. Patricia Arquette talking about gender pay equality, for Boyhood, it was jarring. It didn't make sense. For everyone clapping in the theater, there's going to be tons and tons of people clicking off when they're watching it at home.
Yeah, it is so insane. And by the way, Patricia Arquette, of all people to be the spokesperson for this, I've been searching all morning. I don't think she has a college education. She was pregnant by the age of 20 years old. And here she is making, millions of dollars to be an actress. In what country can you have no college education, be a mom or outside of wedlock at the age of 20, and then by the time you're in your 40s, you're making millions of dollars to just, look good in front of a camera and say a few words?
That's why these speeches are made, because no one can critique them. No one can kind of have counter arguments. You can say what you want and then just rush off the stage, and it's sort of oddly the perfect forum for a not a well thought out speech, frankly.
Any other political moments? I know that John Legend won for the best song for Selma, and that was a moment to sort of raise the Selma torch there, since that was the other movie that many people thought was snubbed for other political purposes. Yeah,
I mean, there was that moment, and also the director Birdman made a plea for the amnesty movement at the very, very end of the evening. So if you stuck around for 3 hours and 45 minutes, you got another bold political moment right smack dab in your TV screen.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining us, Christian Toto.
My pleasure.
HollywoodInToto.com is the website. And really, I just want to play this one red carpet moment.
Okay,
Dakota Johnson is the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
The star of 50 Shades of Grey.
I've heard that.
Which we've had many conversations about. She was there last night on the red carpet with her mother, Melanie Griffith. And awkwardly, the reporter asked Melanie Griffith, "What'd you think of your daughter in the movie?" And Melanie Griffith says, "I actually haven't seen it yet." And she said, "Oh, you should really see it." And, well, the content of the movie and what her daughter looks like. Here's how that exchange went.
You don't want to see it? Maybe one day.
I don't think I can. Yeah. I think it would be strange.
No, I don't think so. I think it's fine. I think that one day you could see it.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I'll just tell you, until you see it, she's really good. And there are those scenes, but she's also just a really...
Well, she's a really good actress. I don't need to see that to know how good she is.
Wow. All right. You don't have to see it.
Okay, fine, Mom. You don't have to see it.
I know. It's a very awkward family moment.
Ugly.